Welcome to Season 1 of The Animal Highlight. This first season highlights animals in relation to the urban and has been extracted from Season 3 of the Animal Turn podcast. In the second episode, I highlight pigeons. They are super fascinating. Enjoy. In this Animal Highlight, I'm going to be speaking a little bit about an animal who came up in today's episode, and that's the trusty pigeon. Pigeons are absolutely amazing birds. I mean, I knew I really liked pigeons even prior to getting things ready for this Animal Highlight, but I had no idea how cool they were. I mean, really, there are pigeons who are decorated war heroes and have stories, military stories and honing stories and a variety of stories about how they've helped and served humans.
Persian kings used them, Julius Caesar used them, and in World War I, soldiers on the front used them to relay hundreds of thousands of messages.
But as an animal in and of themselves, they are just amazing. They can see in ultraviolet light. They can hear ultrasound. They're one of only a few species that produce something called crop milk, which is where pre-digested food is regurgitated through the lining of their throat. And it's a really rich milk that's high in fat and protein. They live in cities in abundance, even though humans have actively tried to remove them from cities. And one of the reasons they really like cities is because there's a whole host of food available, but also our buildings tend to look a lot like cliff faces.
Because, as Carlin says, cities are essentially tailor-made for these birds.
They're amazing flyers. They're able to find their way home from almost anywhere. So pigeons are just awesome. They were domesticated by humans some 5,000 years ago. And, what you might not know, pigeons can live for between 3 to 15 years. So when you see a pigeon on the street pecking away, you might want to stop to think about how old this pigeon is and the world they've seen and the things they've done. Okay, and one more really cool thing for an animal highlight is pigeons are thought to have really high conceptual capacities. So a lot of people have heard about the mirror test and elephants and chimpanzees passing what's the mirror test. Pigeons have passed this test. Other studies have also been done in trying to understand or unpack pigeons' conceptual capacities. So in one, they were shown a variety of different paintings to try and see if they could distinguish between Monet and Picasso paintings. And once they had started to identify the difference between Monet and Picasso paintings, they started to be able to differentiate between different paintings based on style. So when they were shown a painting that they'd never ever seen before, if that style resembled Picasso, they were able to show that's a Picasso painting. And with the same kind of conceptual reasoning, they've realized that pigeons are also able to identify malignant versus benign cancer when looking at a scan. So they'll have a scan of both malignant and benign cancer tumors. And a single pigeon is able to do this once trained to identify and differentiate between the two, is able to identify the difference 85% of the time. But when you put them in a group of pigeons, they're able to do so 99% of the time.
They're remarkable vision machines. They're remarkable memory machines. You know, they do this all with a brain that's really not much bigger than a thumb.
Which is just an amazing fact. They can see colors and they tend to mate for life, which means they pick someone who they like and they love, and they stick with them, which is rather amazing. So I've thrown a whole host of facts at you today about pigeons and how great their vision is and their hearing and their ability to find their way home. But all I really want to do is say, the next time you see a pigeon in your city, stop, look at them, consider how old they are, consider what their relationships are, how many young they've given milk to. They really are amazing, amazing birds who we've got thousands and thousands of years worth of history with. So I hope that you stop and you watch pigeons. A huge thank you to Animals in Philosophy, Politics, Law and Ethics for sponsoring the Animal Turn podcast, where these highlights were taken from. And another massive thank you to Christiaan Mentz for editing this episode. Thank you also goes to Rebecca Shen for designing the Animal Highlight logo and episode artwork. This is the Animal Highlight with me, Claudia Hirtenfelder.